3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Herdy Podcast. I'm Tessa.
I'm Adam.
And we are happy you are here. Adam, okay, so I always ask you what's going on, but I feel like I need to ask you what's not going on in your world. Holy moly, you've been busy.
It's been crazy. It's been busy, but good busy.
Yeah.
Not terrible.
What have you been doing?
No, so we've already in my department. Is that what we're talking about? Or are we talking about more personal stuff?
Whatever your heart feels like you want to talk about today.
No, it's cool. The new media department, it's off and running. So
Yeah.
A lot going on there. We launched another podcast.
Perfect.
Called shameless plug here, the HISD Unscripted.
Yeah, y'all should check it out. It's got really good information on it.
Yeah, it's information that we're trying to push out to our community.
Right.
More knowledge, stuff that they don't know,
Mm-hmm.
questions that they might have that they know little information about.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to kind of hit some spots there. So go check it out. But
so I've watched it, and a couple of things that I like is it makes the superintendent human. Does that make sense?
yes,
Because like a lot of times, and I know that's probably one of the goals that y'all had with that, and I know that's one of Dr. Carter's goals, but I feel like a lot of time we think, oh, the superintendent is just this like superhuman out here. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
really, they're just a regular person like us.
Mhm.
And I think it's good to get to see them in that light where it's not so intimidating.
Yeah. And it's good to hear some of that stuff coming from him and not necessarily just the stuff we're supposed to put out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's an organic conversation. So one thing that we do say that it's unscripted. So we have a plan, but then we just kind of go off.
Kind of like us.
Yeah.
We're just rolling
like
with
that.
it.
So I love that part of it.
Yeah.
And then if somebody will ask questions like in the comments
Mhm.
or emails us, then we'll address those,
Perfect.
good or bad.
Sheesh, I didn't know we could do that. I'm
yeah,
gonna do that. I'm gonna just start filling it up. I'm just kidding.
Honestly, because we're trying to be transparent.
Right.
And we don't want the community to think, oh, you guys are just pushing stuff that you guys think we want to hear. But
Yeah.
in reality, we want to try to be transparent with it. So
Perfect.
yeah, so cool.
Yeah, and I ran into you guys. I believe we were at Ickman, you and Kara, filming first year teacher stuff.
Yeah, it was fun.
So like see y'all out in the wild. I was like, whoa, it was kind of cool.
That was fun. You ever want to really see what kids think of a teacher? Just ask them, right?
Yeah.
And then you would figure like in an age, like maybe 2-3 years ago, you put a camera in front of a student's face and they're like, they go camera shy, right?
Right.
Now,
Not anymore.
It's like, oh, my teacher's great because of this. And thankfully they said all good things. But no, these kids they're amazing, but it's just a direct reflection of what the teachers do in the classroom,
Right.
and what they're doing to mold these kids' minds.
So with me being in the classroom, I kind of probably know what some of these kids were saying. I haven't seen y'all's videos yet because probably won't go to the first year teacher thing. Well, because I'm not really invited because are not first year teacher, the teacher of the year awards. Anyways, all that to say, did any of them say anything? Man, I love how they teach math. Was that some of the comments, or was it more of like how they made them feel as a person?
Yeah. So no, it was more of their feelings. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like, don't shoot me. I know curriculum is important. I get this, but it is so important.
Yeah.
How you are in the classroom. Like they pick up on that. And that was always my first thing. Before I ever taught anything, I had to get them to trust me. I needed to trust the kids.
Yes.
And build that bond, if you will.
Yeah.
So anyway, I bet a lot of them weren't like.
There were a few. Now there's an exception. There was a few that they were like, oh, she helps me with this and with that.
Right.
But more of them were, they went off of emotion.
Like their character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On how they felt. How
Super
they made them
cool.
feel. Yeah, that's cool.
That's awesome.
So that's a little bit of what we've been doing.
Yeah, no, and I've seen like different posts come out, which I don't think would have happened if y'all's team hadn't happened, just because there's not enough time for all of that.
Mhm.
So I feel like y'all are doing a good job meeting everybody, not just athletics, not, you know what I mean? Like it's academic and
yeah, we're highlighting a
staff
bunch of
and stuff.
A lot of cool student organizations,
Mhm.
really, and so we've done the Hot Routers, we've done the MJROTC.
Kyler's like, are they going to come see our dairy judging team? I was like, no, they are not.
So we want to do something for CTE, and we try to get it all done before February. I think was CTE month, and we just time didn't allow, but we are going to get around and do every department at CT.
Super
So
cool.
that'll be fun.
Well, FFA is fixing to have their big convention. I don't know what that looks like, but maybe they could shoot some things for you while they're there and y'all could use it
For sure.
for next year or something like
That'd
that.
be great.
But anyway, okay. So our world has been crazy. I mean, as always, testing is happening. We only have like a week and a half left of that. So that's crazy to even think about that.
Yeah.
And then it's the end of the school year, right? And so we have the testing going on. We're piloting some new things, which has caused some issues, but I think in the end, it's going to be really great. It's a new filtering system that I think, like, so obviously we can see, like with the kids and staff search or whatever. And one of the kids says, "I hate Deladeo." in the search. And so it pulls up as self-harm because of the word hate. And it was so funny. Like I cracked up at that. I was like, cool, it's working.
I really love it. This is crazy because of the technology that's embedded into the software.
It's insane.
But so this was even 3 years ago when we first saw them at TCEA.
Right.
And the technology was already there, and it's only gotten better.
Yeah.
So we're excited. I'm excited for you guys.
Well, and this, like, something that's different than from like iBoss or whatever, or even Aristotle, if you will. So this will actually show you what the kids are typing in Google Docs. So, and there's a caveat to that because a lot of our teachers, especially our high school teachers, they deal with tough topics, right? Because it's the generation that we're living in. They have to deal with that. So it flags a lot of that. But our students like to chat in Google Docs, which some teachers are not aware of.
Yeah.
They're full blown, like, I mean, I'm not going to tell you the student, obviously, because that's like FERPA or whatever. There is a full on breakup happening in a Google Doc in a classroom. And it caught it all on there because of the language and sexual content. But like in the past, we wouldn't have seen that.
Yeah.
No way. Or unless we did like a super deep dive and a parent's like, hey, or our teacher's like, hey, that caught it for us. And so it goes to this thing and it's like, hey, you should check on this kid. And it's high alert. And what I love about this is the principals now have access to that in the past where they didn't. And it goes straight to a counselor or they can investigate it. So yes, it's on our end because like as technology, we have to do our due diligence because something's going to slip and that's on us to make sure our students are safe on that too. But it puts it on the campus hand where the counselor can be like, okay, she's wanting to hurt herself from this breakup instantly.
Yes.
And we're not having a deep dive. It's amazing.
No, and I feel that's important because it's on your campus.
Yes.
Right. And you know the student.
Yeah.
You could say, oh, hey, anyway, it's awesome that it's come to the technology's caught up to where we need it to be.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm not saying anything bad about iBoss was great while we had it. But
right.
It almost feels like you would need to have somebody constantly watching
full time, like a monitor. And you can't do that.
That's nowhere can you do that. I mean, unless you're a big corporation. And so I'm excited. Yeah,
right. And it has the teacher side of it. Eventually, I mean, it's going to probably replace Aristotle, which I think it's going to be better because it allows the teachers more flexibility of blocking and unblocking things.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's going to be really cool. So I'm going to kind of segue into this. That actually is going to be a topic at one of our conferences, or not one of ours. We're not hosting multiple. We're only hosting one, guys. To the Collab conference. Irene and Jesus are actually going to talk about that. So if that's something you're interested in, please sign up. Please, please, please. We need people to come. We've budgeted. I mean, we've budgeted for like 200, and I'm just going to be really transparent with you. We only have 15 people signed up.
Yep.
And 4 of you guys are from Hereford. And so like, I don't know. I can't give my full thoughts on that at this moment. However, I just really like it's one day, I know it's your summer. I get it. I mean, I know what it's like to have the summer. It's one time, but the whole purpose behind it was so that we could all collaborate together and come together with curriculum and technology. And so I really think it will be worth your time. And if it's not, leave a feedback on that so we can improve for next year. Cause this isn't going away. Like this is something that I'm passionate about, our district's passionate about. So I really would love for you guys to start signing up because the reason why we need to know is because you're getting free food. And so we have to have all of that kind of stuff planned. So
yeah, and it's all free.
Like, yeah, completely free. Like nothing, like you have to pay nothing. I mean, the gas to get to Hereford. So anyway, and I heard Adam's teaching.
What?
Just kidding. Did I make you sweat a little?
A little bit. I think my face got red. Let me see
Yeah,
that.
I think you're teaching like some graphic stuff with our brand or whatever. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, that'd be fun.
And
But
if you have that little inkling to teach, like I can always use more presenters. Because you guys do amazing things in the classroom and I see it all the time. And you think it might be something little, but I can't express this enough. We need to see what you're doing. Because, you know, like maybe at the high school level, you're doing, I'm going to throw this out there. Sarah Balch, I'm looking at you. Okay. You host a podcast. Okay. So that's something staff wants to know. I have some teachers at the junior high who host podcasts, but they're like book reviews. That's stuff we need to see. And so we can use that together. Like, how can you collaborate together?
Yeah.
You know, and she could be, the junior high teachers could be molding students to use in Sarah's class. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So like we all work together with this. So I would love to have more presenters. I mean, I'm not going to turn a presenter away. Because if you're bold enough to sign up, I'm going to choose you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I want to give you a chance, but if you have not done that, please sign up for the conference. We got to know.
Yes. We have a bunch of great teachers with great methods, great teaching, great techniques. And even if you do think it's small, like somebody else could use that and they're not using it that way.
Right.
And so you help them and then they can help you. So it's just a collaboration. Really, it's all it is.
Yes.
Let's put our minds together and figure out what we need to do. Because let's just be honest, there's not a whole lot of teachers that are just jumping off or people that are going to the teaching field.
Right.
And then just piling up in lines to come and apply for positions in anywhere, in any school district. So let's help each other out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, that was a shameless plug. Okay. So Adam, you kind of know my personality now.
Yes.
And I kind of geek out, like really geek out on certain things. And something was released last week. And unfortunately, I was on an airplane. Maybe not unfortunately. I was going to TCA, which is always a good time. But I missed the live presentation. Guys, Canva has updated and it is mind blowing. Okay. So like even Adam, who doesn't use Canva as much, is like, have you seen it? I'm like, yes, friend, I've seen this. Like, this is crazy. So we're going to use a little snippets of this podcast to show you guys just a couple things that I think that like just blew my mind and kind of a few of the new things that are happening. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys. So let's take a look right here. So let's figure out what is new in Canva. Okay, so if your Canva screen looks like this, then you are in the beta form. Okay, so basically what beta means is they are trying to push something out to test it out. A lot of times it sticks, but sometimes it doesn't because like maybe it's not popular or maybe they're like, oh, we got to go do some work on this, right? So if you do not have any of the new things in your header, if you will, it looks like this. All you have to do is click on these icons in these envelopes. And of course, Canva is going to be extra, which I love. And it's going to play a little like melody as you click it, and then it will unlock all of the power. Okay, so what that means is, let me come over here to home. So you'll see this interface looks different up here, which, you know, that's, I don't know. I like a clean interface. I think this looks clean. So this is a cool idea. You can click this to see what's new, or you can play the announcement if you have not seen that. Okay. So, your designs is a new feature over here, which you just click on that and all of your recent designs pop up down here. It makes it streamlined, which is awesome because sometimes we have a hard time finding things. You'll have two new symbols above the photo editor, which is super cool. I haven't played around a lot with that yet, but from the video that I've seen, it does a lot of cool things. Like obviously they kept the background remover, but like I could change the color of my shirt, you know, like, so like we're in the athletic world a lot and we always see coaches moving all the time. And I'm like, how did they get their shirt to be that color? Well, I mean, obviously, you know, in Photoshop, but now Canva has something like that where I could change the shirts. Like, let's say our new teachers are in a purple shirt and we can change them to a maroon shirt, right? So like you can do different things like that. This one is also going to have something new on there. It's the sheets, which is mind blowing to me. So, and this one is the one that I'm most excited about is the Canva AI. So there's a couple of places that you guys can hit it from. So you can hit it right there, or you can also go right here as well. So I want to take a look at this. So ChatGPT, which is OpenAI is now embedded within Canva and vice versa. Okay. So I think that's a really great feature to update. It saves you time. It gives you ideas that you would never be able to do. So you can design things, you can create an image, you can draft a doc, but this one is the one I'm most excited about, and it is creating a code. Okay. So I'm going to ask it to create a matching game for my pre-K students with colors to objects. So watch what happens when we do that. So I'm going to say code for me, and then I'm going to click next. I am not a coder. This is a language all of its own. Those of you who know how to do this, you blow my mind. Okay. I could never do this.
Yeah.
So what this is doing is it's coding a interactive game based on my prompt, right? And so it's just going to go through it. It's going to go through the colors. It's going to go through the shapes, all of that good kind of stuff. And I'm not having to do any of this at this moment. And it's just thinking this for me. Some of you will say it's cheating. Okay. Some of you will say, well, how are you going to learn? I don't want to learn coding.
Yeah.
I want to game really fast. Okay. So anyway, so kind of keep that in mind. And as it's going, I can see it's going to use a banana and grass and orange and grapes. That's the only thing that I could read from that. That's the only thing I know from that.
It's literally a different language. Like it's amazing how, like you said, how people are who go into this and are like, just they type it like this, right? Because they know it. And to us, it's just like, no. But it's something that really, call it cheating, if you will. But I think it's using your resources.
Yeah,
really,
dude, it's
honestly.
using my resources. Well, and even like, so I think of our junior high teachers who teach coding, right?
Mhm.
So this could even be helpful for them as well. Like, yes, it's providing that code, but it gives them an idea of how to use it, where to go from, just different things like that.
Mhm.
So code takes a while, guys, right? So like, this is not a super fast 3 seconds. Like what I always am like, oh, hey, this is only gonna take you like 3 seconds. I mean, at the most, this is probably going to take you 2 to 3 minutes to have the whole thing coded. But I promise you, once it's done, it is worth it. So, and what's cool about that is you can, you can change any of this. So let's say I didn't like the picture of the sky. I could go back in here and say, I don't like sky. So right now, this is what it looks like. So you can even practice to kind of see, why is it not clicking on that? Drag the words to match. Okay, let's try it again. There we go. It doesn't like the blue. The blue and we've had an issue. When I tried this earlier, it had a cloud with the sun. I was like, that's not blue.
Oh,
and that's what I was trying to do. So anyway, so yes, hey, man, yes, I like this. So if you wanted to use this in the classroom, you have to click this design that says use in a design. So what this does is it pulls it out. So you're saying, yes, I like this game. And so this is something that you could push to your ClearTouch board, right? If you had a website, like let's say you wanted to build all these kinds of games and create a website and send it home to your parents to use so they could practice these skills at home. You know, like that's amazing. And that took 3 minutes to create, and I could make this very customizable. So anyway, so I really wanted to show you guys that. So you can think of other things. Like I created something yesterday, a little quiz thing to put in an email that linked it to our our sign in for the technology conference.
Mhm.
So like, there's a lot of really cool things for you guys to utilize with that. So that's just one thing that I wanted to show you on that. Okay, the other thing I want us to take a look at is what actually is happening in Canva. This is another really cool feature too. So now you have the option to add all of these into a presentation. Okay, so let's just stop and talk about, like, I'm sorry, I'm nerding out. I know this is going to be long, but I don't care. So now, so when I created a presentation, I really was only able to add a slide and add what I wanted to in that. Like I could have added a table, I could have embedded a video, but now you can add all of these in here. So let's say I want to create a presentation. I've created a video, so I can click that button now and I can click one of those and make a video for my students. That will be embedded right there. Perfect. Okay, let's say I have a doc of notes that I want to do for my students. I can click on that. I can put that in there as well. I can add a whiteboard in there. I did a PD outside the box couple months ago, last month maybe, about how to use whiteboard and make it collaborative. You can now add that in there. So in the past, it had to be separate things, right? And so now this is all in one presentation, and I can send this out in Google Classroom, and you have all of that embedded within one presentation.
Love that.
How cool is that?
That's
Okay.
real cool.
And then the final thing I want us to look at, and this is something that you guys can play around with, is the sheets. This one's super cool too. I am not a great sheet creator. That's for Mark Stokes.
Yeah.
Like, he makes spreadsheets that blow my mind,
Yeah.
right? And he writes the code for all of that. Okay, listen, I could have ChatGPT do that for me now. So, I mean, it really is. They have different options that you can do here, like event planning, all that good kind of stuff, social calendar things. But in the education world, I want you guys to kind of think about like different kinds of, attendance tracking or grade tracking. Well, now you can do that within here and not even need Google Sheets, which is so cool.
Yeah.
You could put it in that presentation. One way that I thought about using it, I saw someone use this is, we create a lot of things, right? So maybe I want to create a math journal an interactive math journal in my classroom. And I design one cover right here, but I want to differentiate it for students, right? So they all have the same cover, but the insides are different, and it doesn't call them out saying that that's different, right? So there was a way where you could drop an image right here, and then I could say, I want to use this cover right here, but I want 17 different insides, and it will create it for you. Like, it's crazy. And then it's all linked. So then I could have it linked right here in this column. So then let's say, oh, Tessa needs number 4. So I could click on that and then share that with Tessa. So it's all done within that Google Sheets. I mean, it's crazy. We don't have time to show you that. Like, you would have to do the actions and see how you can bulk create. That's one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's craziness. So anyway, so that's a couple of things. And of course, there's a lot of things. So tell me what you love about the updates. So I'm going to stop sharing. I just think that is just so cool. I don't know. I really, really nerded out on that. So anyway.
But that's so cool. I mean, Canva's just doing like revolutionary
a lot.
I mean, this is stuff that's unheard of. Like even in chat. What's cool about it is it kind of brings your graphics and your creative part and ChatGPT and merges it all in one.
Right.
And so you don't have to go anywhere. You just do it all within.
You just do it all within that
Canva.
That program.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and if you don't have access to the things that have the crown, that means you don't have your free account. And anybody with Hereford ISD email can get the free account. So just reach out and we can get that for you. I'm afraid they're going to make us pay for it soon. And I'm not going to lie. I've already told Dana, I said, listen, what do we have to cut to keep this? Because we need this. So anyway, so if it does come to that version, we have a contingency plan to make sure we have that in our budget.
Yeah, it's hard to keep stuff like that free. Just because
this is my theory behind this. Because you saw a lot of it was marketing, right? So there's a lot of companies that use that. I think they're price gouging them so that we can have it for free. I'm not against it. Just don't hurt the educators, okay?
If they can keep doing that, that'd be great.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Okay, so Adam, I have a hot topic that I would like to talk about.
Okay.
Okay, so this is something that I've thought about in the classroom as I go into classrooms. Do you think we are overvaluing quietness in the classroom? Okay, so let me kind of talk about my thoughts behind this. So there would be a time where I would have an administrator come in. Now, I've been out of the classroom for a while, so I'm not saying any of that. But there would be times where I don't want to say got in trouble, but I would have remarks about children not being quiet. Okay. I don't know. So like, as things have gone on, this is a question I've thought about. Are we overvaluing quietness? I don't know. Cause you go by classrooms and sometimes they're silent. And what stinks is the STAR test has to be silent. Cause if you talk, you have an irregularity and blah, blah, blah. Like, so I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
I hate being quiet.
The quietness.
I guess hate's a strong word. I should probably not use that, but I really strongly dislike being quiet. I have to have, in order for me to function, I have to have some kind of a noise, something going on, whether it's music, whether it's a conversation, or whether it's just something's going on.
Right.
Just because I can't focus. I'm not gonna say I can't focus. I do better
Right.
when I'm not having to sit there. And honestly, I could probably sit there and work in quiet, but I dislike for somebody to say everybody needs to be quiet.
Everybody be quiet now. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That's me though.
Yeah. So the reason what prompted this is I saw a post about this, and it said we need to shift from quiet equals good, quiet equals compliance, to buzz equals learning. And that really just got me thinking, because there's so many classrooms that are so quiet. I don't think that's wrong either, but I'm just like, we need to shift that. Like, what happens when we talk? What happens when you have that communication? What happens when a teacher shows how to model that? I think there's value in that. And I think if just because you go into a class, no, you know the difference between rambunctious out of control versus productive talking. And so anyway, so that was a hot topic, because there are some people who still like, sit down and be quiet. Everybody sit down and be quiet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus like, let's have talk. And I think about that even in like our own relationship, not mine and James's. I was the only child. So for a long, I didn't talk to people. I'm okay with the quiet. I can sit there and be just fine. But like growing up in our marriage, there was a lot of times where I chose to be quiet versus talking. But like, if I would have talked, like, I think that would have solved a lot of things, like, and learned a lot versus just being the quiet. And then in the classroom, I don't mind the quiet. If we all want to be quiet, that's cool too. I don't know. So anyway, that's a topic that I was like, that's very interesting to me. Do we overvalue quiet? Do we feel quiet is good and compliant versus buzz equals the learning? I don't know. Something to think about.
For sure. I'm telling you, I probably could work in quiet, but I don't want somebody to tell me you have to be quiet.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I get the testing part. I really do.
Which is so dumb to me.
I don't know how do you work that out? I mean, I'm telling you, we went during the Teacher of the Year awards, and we were recording. And so we went to one classroom, and granted they were older kids, but it was like all over the place. She was teaching, and one kid would blurt out an answer, and she's like, yes. And then she'd go like this, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And so this other person heard this other little girl say the wrong answer. He's like, I don't think that's what it is, but not in an argument type of deal. He was like, this is what I think it is.
Well, it's because they've had that modeling of like, this is how we have constructive conversation.
It was awesome. And it wasn't chaotic. Does that make sense? Like it was a sense of like, yes, they were loud. Yes, they were talking, but it wasn't like all over the place where everybody's just shouting and yelling. It was a teaching moment. And she was just like, and she made it fun for them. Like she was pointing at them, and she's like, okay, you go. And then they were like, and it was fun for them. So, and honestly, some of the questions they were asked weren't easy. No. And they were given really good answers.
That's cool.
So it was amazing. It was awesome. So I like that. Yeah. To me, that made me feel like I can sit in her classroom for a while. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yep. And I'm like, I wasn't.
And you don't really like school.
Yeah, I wasn't a guy that loved school. So then just take that.
Yeah. I just feel like we need to bring talking back a little bit more.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. Cool. I just want to have that conversation with you. Okay. I don't have anything else to share because I shared a lot. So I apologize about that. But anyways.
But it's really good information. I mean, the Canva thing was amazing.
Yeah. Mind blowing.
And then
even at TCA, we're like, did you see? I'm like, yeah, did you see? I could really nerd out there.
And then that hot topic.
Yeah. So, okay. So, I like to end every segment like this. What are you loving?
Wow. There's a lot. There really is a lot. But I'm loving the time I'm getting to spend with Anastasia, where their kids have moved on, and they've been moved on. Now you guys could see. Yeah. We talked about it a few times in the pod, but we get to do a lot of things together, and that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And when she goes away, like this week, she went away.
Also, Anastasia, if you look, the purple is for you. I let him pick the color, and he said, I'm going to do purple because I miss her.
Absolutely. So anyways, it makes you value your partner. Yeah. So whenever they're gone for a couple of days. So anyways,
I
Yeah,
love that.
that's what I'm loving.
Okay, so what I'm loving, and it's going to sound kind of weird. We are in the wilderness right now, and that just as a family, and typically people don't like to be in the wilderness, right? So, but God's just been so kind, if you will, while we've been in the wilderness. And there's a Hebrew term for it, and I'm probably gonna botch it, but it's called divar. I told you I was gonna botch it. But where He shows you good things in the wilderness, right? So, like, I think about like the Israelites; they were there for 40 years. Not all of it was bad. I mean, they got the 10 Commandments in there. Like, that's a pretty good thing. Or like Paul, who is in jail, that's a pretty big wilderness, but he wrote most of his books from there. And so that's what I have been loving, embracing the wilderness, but finding the good in it, because it's not all bad. And so we just really have been challenged a lot, probably since the last time we've done the podcast.
Yeah.
And so just finding the good things. And so one of the good things that has come from that, and I had this conversation with Christy Vollmer yesterday, is to not fit in someone's box, but create a new shape. And so like there's changes that are happening, and it's like, how do I fit here? I don't. So you know what? Let's create a new shape. Let's make something new out of it. What is this going to look like? And so like, that's what God has been teaching me in the wilderness. And so that's what I'm loving right now. So
that's powerful. Boom.
And I didn't cry. So hooray for me.
That was low key a mic drop. Honestly, that was really good. That was powerful. That speaks a lot. Cool.
Okay.
Awesome.
So yeah, so guys, that's all we have. I know it's long. These are always going to be timestamped, so like you can just kind of sort through whatever you want to, but from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate you joining us. We don't get to do these as often as we want, but when we do, we are excited to get to do this with you guys. So as always, thank you for watching. If you have any comments, just drop them in the chat or reach out to any of us. We're always here to help. So hope you have an amazing, we get a 4-day weekend.
Yes.
Amazing 4-day weekend. And guys, just hold on, because we are almost done with school. So thanks for joining, guys.
Bye.
Bye.